Hello everybody, a very warm welcome back to MEC-TEC. We're in the wilds of Norfolk, as you can probably tell, at my dad's place, and the old Capri is going to get a bit of treatment today. It is about time it got back on the road. The MOT ran out, I don't know when it ran out, a while ago, and it hasn't been used obviously, so we need to do a couple of jobs on this. The rear brakes appear to be binding since it's been sitting, and we've got to do put a battery clamp on it as well, because for whatever reason when I got it, it didn't actually have a battery clamp on it, and I didn't notice it on the last MOT, but it would just be my luck that I'm up here and I want to get it MOT'd in the morning, that it needs the battery clamp, obviously fixing the battery down and put it on. So we're going to do that as well. I'm not sure, it possibly maybe an exhaust leak we've got to sort out as well, which I've got a gasket for if we get time. It's not that bad, so it won't fail an MOT, but obviously if I get time to do it I will. So that is another little job on there, but it's going to be brakes first of all. Get the back jacked up, get the drums off and see what's going on inside there. So without further ado, let's crack on, get some work done. Right, I think we've determined it's this driver's side that's causing the issue. I'm going to show you. I'm going to turn the passenger wheel. Now this has got limited slip diff, so that means it turns the same way, does it?
Should do. Well, no, when the drive's on it.
When the drive's on it the same way, yeah. But when I turn the other wheel, it goes right the way around, but this side turns to a point and then jams, going either way. So I'll just show you what I mean. This is going clockwise. Tell me if it stops.
No, it's going round the right now.
Going round the right now, is it?
Yeah.
I'll go anti-clockwise. It's stopped now, isn't it?
Yeah, it stops, yeah.
Yeah, so there's something in there that's not right. I'll go clockwise again.
That's it, free. Stop at the free point.
I know, I just want to see it go. It's jammed again now.
Yeah.
Now it's jammed both ways. Oh, is that moving?
Yeah, that's free.
Right. Okay. So now we've determined that that's in a fairly free spot. I'm going to attempt to get this drum off and see what's going on. And when I get it off, I'll come back to you and show you what's inside. Right, before this drum finally comes off, I'm going to call this and say that the brake shoe has come adrift from the backing. Let's just see if I'm right, eh?
Yeah.
I said this to Dad, I said if I reckon where it's going round a certain way and then stopping, it's the brake shoe that's coming adrift from the backing of it and then getting jammed up. I could be wrong, probably am, but you never know. It has been a bit of a so-and-so to get off though. Know that. Proper on there. And there's no adjuster on the back, so it's even more difficult. Well, there's no adjuster that I can see anyway. Probably can't, there is one now. So close to being off. I'll have to hit it again, I think. Went a long way towards it, didn't it? There you go. There was a lot of junk in there. Look at that. See that in the bottom of the drum? Maybe it might have even been that making it jam up. Just full of dust. But actually the shoes are fine.
Well, that's a bit of luck.
Yeah. The wheel the other side's free. I'm turning it with this one.
Yeah.
The tyre's well out around though. It's got a massive flat spot in it.
Is it?
On that back side, the other side, yeah. So we know it's not the other side that's causing it, because if I can turn it from the hub on this side, which is obviously not got a lot of leverage.
Let's see where the adjuster is then. If you can see the inside now, a bit at the top, right?
It's up here, yeah. It'd be one of these tangs on the top here, yeah. There's nothing at the bottom, that's just a pivot point. I reckon it might just been full of gunk. And where it's spinning round, it's just binding up on the material.
What is that? Is it rust then?
It's brake dust. There's nothing wrong with it as far as the drum. There's no lip on that at all.
No.
Maybe it's over adjusted as well. Might be a little bit over adjusted maybe. I mean, it is a self adjuster. I think what I'm going to do is give it a quick brush out. I bought some brake cleaner with me. I'll give it a clean. Maybe try and reset these adjusters so that it's just got a light bit of drag on the drum, and then see what it does. That's all I can do, isn't it?
Yep.
Because it passed the MOT however long ago, last year or year before. It didn't have a problem. Just where it's been sitting, so it might just been a bit stuck, or it might have been the gunk in the drum, or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, a bit of a strange one. Okay, right, let's get this cleaned up and we'll put the drum back on, see if it spins normal or not. Right, having cleaned everything up and everything else, I found the wheel cylinder is jammed out. This side, I don't know if you saw in the time lapse, I hammered it and now it's free. That's absolutely fine. But this side is absolutely rock solid. So I'm going to try and free that up if I can, with a bit of gentle persuasion, and hopefully it will free up. And if it does, then obviously we're okay, and then it will carry on working in theory for the MOT. If it doesn't, then we might need a new wheel cylinder. It might need a new one anyway, in due course, but just to get it through an MOT, because obviously I'm in Norfolk and I'm up here overnight tonight to MOT it in the morning, so I want to get it done so that it passes, so I can obviously bring it home and use it, and obviously do jobs like this on it. So yeah, I'm gonna have a little go at that and see what we can do. Right, I've got the shoes sort of loose, and I've managed, I couldn't, no matter how hard I hit this side of the cylinder, it would not move. But what I ended up doing was getting a screwdriver in the groove and actually turning it, and now you can see it is actually free, but it's very, very gritty inside. So I don't know what's inside there. It might be almost worth taking it off and cleaning it all out. I'm a bit loath to do that, because obviously I need to get, if I need to get a new one, I don't know if I'll be able to get a new one today, because it's what car it is, The other problem I've got is this handbrake pivot is absolutely seized solid, so there's no movement in that pivot for the handbrake cable, which is not helping matters. So I'm going to have to free that up as well. So I'm going to fiddle around with this for a minute, and hopefully we'll get it all working again in a minute with any luck. Right, I'll just show you this. Put all that back together, give it a clean. Obviously both sides of the wheel cylinder are now working correctly. So we're basically just going to put the drum back on, and Dad's going to push the brake, and we'll see what it does. See if it locks up or not, and obviously if it frees up again after. It's okay at the moment, it's got a light bit of drag on it, which is fine. Yeah, you can sit in it, yeah. Go on then. Yep, that's locked on solid. Yep, take it off. Yep. So both you pull the handbrake up. Yep, locked on solid. Take it off. Perfect. Well, it's a little bit stiff in one place, but I can still turn it by hand, so that'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, doing it by hand.
Yeah. So there you go. That looks like our rear brakes are freed up. So that's really, really good. And I've got this pivot moving on here as well. Now you can see the pin itself is absolutely solid in the arm, but the actual pivot's moving at least, so that's quite good. So I think that's our brake saga fixed. I may just pop the other drum off the other side just to make sure that it's all right inside. And obviously inspect that and maybe give it a quick clean, some brake clean, just so it's not full of rubbish. All this stuff in this pan is what came out of that drum, pretty much, apart from a few bits of grass that were on the floor. So that is absolutely tons of stuff that was in there. So that probably wasn't helping too much either. So that's really, really good. Pleased with that. So hopefully that will get us through the MOT all right. I think it may need a wheel cylinder in the future, but having said that, if I keep using it, it might not. So it's only through lack of use where it's been sitting that it's obviously seized up. So that's really good. I'm going to have a look at the other side, make sure that's all right, and then we should be hopefully good to go. I will just jack the front up and check the front are free, but we did front brakes on it last year, so they should be okay in theory. So top banana. Right, the passenger side was actually more of the same. I thought it was going to be okay because it was free. The drum came off a hell of a lot easier because it was stuck in a position where it wasn't jammed on, if that makes sense. But this cylinder was also stuck both sides. I've managed to free it up. Didn't have to, well, I did turn it, but I initially just tapped it with a screwdriver and a hammer, and they both have freed up now. So this is now working fully again how it should be. I've given it a quick clean out with some brake clean. I'm sorry the light's a little bit dark this side. Try my best to sort of show it, but yeah, basically I didn't have to take the shoes off this side. It was just a case of freeing up that cylinder, and obviously that's sorted it out. So I think we're okay on the brakes. The handbrake works on both wheels, the foot brake works on both wheels. I'm going to check the front are still free. They should be, as I said earlier, because I did them last year. So as long as the fronts are free, I think the brakes are all good. So that is absolutely top banana. Lovely jubbly. Right, next job on the old Capri is the battery clamp. Now, as you can see, I put a brand new battery in here probably about a month ago because the old one was clapped where it had obviously been sitting up here. And you can see down there, there are a couple of holes where the clamp's supposed to go. Now, the battery that was in this was actually a longer battery, although it was less powerful. And there was never any clamp there. It was just wedged in between the washer bottle, or sorry, not the washer bottle, the radiator reservoir, coolant reservoir, and the front. So I was looking around at home and I just managed to find a random battery bracket which just happens to fit, luckily enough. I've got myself a bolt and I'm just going to bolt that down, so that fits obviously in there, no problem at all. So nice simple job, should keep the MOT man happy. So we'll get that clamped down and then we're going to do an oil change I think next. So I'll probably have to run it up, get it warm, and then we can do a nice oil change. First one I've done on this car, which is really, really bad. So we need to get it done so that it's not some nice fresh oil in it to use. There we go, nice simple job. That is all clamped down there, lovely and solid, not going anywhere. Another job ticked off the list. Right, I'm going to get the old engine running now, and then we'll get it warm and get the oil drained out of it and do a nice oil change. I have to check with my dad when the last time this was started, but not that long ago, but a little while ago. See how easy it starts. Nice and easy. Well, I'm going to let this get warmed up and then we can do an oil change on it. Right. Join me from underneath the Capri. Our drain plug is here and our oil filter's over there. Hopefully this will come undone. Am I doing this the right way? That's the question. Yeah. God, that's tight. There it goes. Right. There's a 13mm sump plug on this. I'm going to get my bowl under here. Tub, I should say. Probably probably going to block where you're watching it. See what sort of sludge we get out of this. Hopefully you'll be able to see alright. I will show you obviously once it drains out a bit. I'll show you what comes out of it. I'm expecting it's going to be quite black. Yeah, it's pretty black. So we'll let that drain out. Once that's drained out, we can do our oil filter, and then we've got some nice 2050 to go back in it, mineral oil. So obviously this was made long before anything synthetic came along. So and I've looked online, and even the Capri specialists tick over. I think I looked up sell 2050 motor oil in their service kit, so that is exactly what I got from Halfords. Same stuff as we used in the super van. It's like a proper old school greeny colour oil. So yeah, we'll let this drain out and I'll come back to you when we're doing the oil filter. Right, before I show you the oil that's come out, I might as well get the oil filter off while we're under here. Got the old 3-pronged oil filter remover here. There's a Wix filter on it by the looks of it, which is a good brand. I'm putting a ball one back on, so I don't know how that compares, but still, it'll do for now. So I'll never remember which way round this is supposed to go. That's doing up, so I want to go the other way. It's typical, isn't it? No. These prongs have to be around a certain way for it to lock on. Probably think I'm daft saying that, but still. Oh no, it was the right way around to start with. Thought it was. Hopefully it won't be too tight. It's pretty tight. I'm glad I've got this oil filter remover with me. Someone's done that up and they have not just used their hands, I can tell you that for nothing. I never would have got that undone. There it goes. Whoop, knocked you over. Pick you up again, sorry about that. You just twiddle it out now, hopefully. Yeah. I get loads of oil everywhere. Try not to, don't really want to get it over Dad's floor. I might let it drain for a minute, just so it doesn't all go over the floor or everywhere. Usually I just undo it, but give it a second and it will drain out a little bit. Oil all over my hands. As long as it's over this bucket, which it is, we're alright. Just don't want to drop it and make a big slop everywhere. It's really difficult to hold this when it's covered in oil. Right, I'll get this out and show you what the oil's like once they stop draining. Obviously when you put your new one back on, you basically just do literally a reverse of what I've just done. Let's get this on a cloth, winkle it out of there like that. As per usual, if you don't know, make sure you lubricate the oil seal on the new oil filter. Here's a new oil filter, Borgen back, as I said, BFO 4085. Don't know how that relates to anything else, but it looks the same to me. So I'll just get some old oil off the old oil filter. I'm only putting it around the top sealing ring. Let me zoom you out slightly. There you go. Just around that top sealing ring, just to give it a little bit of slip when it goes on. Don't want a lot. I'm still draining out of that oil filter housing because the oil filter, I was going to say it started dripping now, but because the oil filter housing is vertical on this, it's obviously all drains out completely, whereas on other cars it's sideways or whatever. Doesn't always all come out. And the underside of this engine is covered in oil, so I'm going to try and give it a bit of a clean up. But I wonder if maybe a cloth with some brake cleaner on it. And then hopefully I'll be able to get under it again and at some point in the future and see where it's actually leaking from and obviously address it. Right, I'm going to spin that on for now, just do it up a little bit tight, and then I'm going to clean my hands. You're only supposed to do oil filters up hands tight as you can with your hands. So I'm going to get this oil tub out from underneath the car so it's out of my way, clean my hands up, and then I'll give that a bit of welly with just my hands and tighten up as much as I can. And I'll show you what colour the oil is when I get the tub out. Right, I've just done up the oil filter as I said, and that is what has come out of the car. It is pretty grotty. But having said that, there's no glittery bits in it, which is obviously good. It does smell a little bit fuely, so it's probably a good thing we're changing it. So yeah, that is, the white smells like that. I'm just trying to see if there's any sludge in the bottom. There is a bit of sludge in the bottom, so hopefully it will do it a world of good. So I'll just show you what I've got as the new stuff. Usually I get the Halford Zone brand, but this time I've got the Comma Classic 2050, which is basically the same stuff. So I'm going to get this lowered back down on the ground. In fact, no, first I'm going to clean up under here. You can see the oil filter up there, all tightened up. I'm going to give this sump a nice clean, because you can see how much of a state that is. I'm going to give that a bit of a clean up just so it doesn't look quite so bad on the MOT ramp, and call that good, and then we'll lower it down and we can fill it up with oil again. Right, I just thought of something else before I lower this down to put the oil in. I've cleaned the sump as best I can. A lot of it's rusty unfortunately, so there's not a lot I can do about that, but I thought I'd just check the front brakes. This side, sorry I wasn't showing that very well, was I? Nice and free. This side, not so much. So before I lower it down, I'm going to have this wheel off, see if I can free this caliper up a little bit. It's obviously got a bit stuck where it's been not used for a while. We'll see if we can free that up while we've got it up in the air. Then we'll lower it down, and then we can put the new oil in. One thing after another, I tell you today, unbelievable. Right, I've had to change tack yet again because I couldn't get the wheel undone with it in the air. So I've lowered it back down and going to get the oil put in there, and then we can see what it sounds like. Now I bought a new exhaust downpipe gasket for this because it had a very slight blow from the exhaust on the downpipe. It turns out that the gasket I got was wrong, but I've just been under there and found that the one side was not particularly tight and the other side had about another 3 turns on it. So I'm hoping that's cured the slight exhaust blow that we had. So I'm going to fill this up with oil. Not sure how much it takes, but we'll find out obviously in due course. Fill this up with oil and then we'll start it up and see what it sounds like. Hopefully the oil will make the engine sound better and the exhaust will not be noisy anymore. That's the hope. So, because I got like a flat gasket for it, and it's actually one of those sort of conical ones that crushes inside the 2 pipes, if that makes sense. Like a sort of, they're almost like a metal mesh that crushes down when you crush them together, you know. So I'm going to pour some of this in, we'll get it up to level, and I'll come back to you and we'll start it up and see what it sounds like. Right, I've got this up to maximum on the stick, so we'll start it up, let it run for a minute, see what it sounds like, and then we'll check it again obviously once it's circulated all the oil around everywhere and gone into the oil filter. Cool. That sounds so much quieter, not ticky or anything. And no exhaust leak, absolutely superb. I'm well chuffed with that. The free fix, that is brilliant, absolutely mega. So I'm going to let this circulate for a minute, I'll check the level again, and then we should be absolutely fine for oiling the engine at least. That's really good, I'm well chuffed with that. Top banana. Right, I've got the passenger wheel off, as you can see. I'm just going to take the pads out. You've got to take the little tiny pins out on these little sort of, whatever you call them, clips. See, one on each pin. Now these have obviously only been in here a little while, so they've come out very easily, as do these pins. So the pads aren't stuck on the pins, which is obviously good to know. I don't really know why this is stuck, unless it is just a piston in the caliper. So got to be careful of these clips. Limited on tools at the moment, so I'm trying to just open them up slightly so I can pull these pads out. And what I'm going to do is take the pads out and push the pistons out so that they're more exposed, and then I'm going to get some WD-40 underneath the dust seals and work them in and out a few times, and hopefully that will free them up from any gunk or whatever that's in there, and get it working again. It's only where it's lack of use, that's all it is, because these were absolutely fine when I put them in here, obviously, and they weren't sticking before. So, and as you can see, the pads are still brand new. Bit of copper grease on the back of them, as I always do. So yeah, that is basically what I'm going to do, as long as this plays ball and comes out. This one don't want to move. Cool. Which tells me it's probably this caliper that's stuck. Sorry, this piston I should say, that's stuck. It does not want to move. Okay. Yeah, see, I've obviously got that pad out now, and I still barely turn this hub, so it's definitely this piston this side that's the issue. That one's okay, which is why that pad came out fairly easily. Quite sure what I'm going to do to get this off. Just trying to squeeze it away from the disc a little bit so that it'll pull out. I may have to get a screwdriver and tap it from the other side. There it goes. Don't know why that was so stuck in there. Right, I'm going to go and pump the pedal out a couple of times so that we pump these pistons in a bit, and then we can get the straw of the WD-40 underneath these dust seals, give them a bit of lubrication, and hopefully that will do the job. I just had to fix something else on the car as well. The main beam, the flashers were working, but if you clicked the main beam on to be on all the time, the switch wouldn't work, and it was sort of like very intermittent. I sprayed some switch cleaner in it and worked it a few times, and it come back to life, so that's all good. You can see that our hub is free there, so now I've got that pad out. So let me go and push this pedal a couple of times. Hopefully they've just pushed out a little bit. Now you can see one of them has, the one that's not stuck has, and the other one hasn't. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of this under here while I'm here, just to obviously aid it in future. And then I'm going to put this pad back in so that it can't push this piston out again, and then it will hopefully push this one out. Don't try not to hurt this dust boot. I'm going to get a little small screwdriver just to get underneath the edge of that so I can get the straw in there. This is the final job on the Capri before the MOT now, so let's hope it passes, eh? Just get that underneath the edge of that dust boot and lift it out the lip like that. Spray some of that inside, so it goes both sides of it if you can. Oh, both sides of it if you can. Straws come off this lid. And then in theory, this will push back in really easy, hopefully. Well, I say really easy, easy-ish. Yeah, see? So that one's not stuck at all, that one's fine. I'm going to pump it again, and hopefully this one will pop out again. I'll do it once more just to make sure, and then I'll put the pad back in that side. I did one more extra pump that time so that it came out a little bit further. Right, let's get our little screwdriver in there again. When you saw me do the cab brakes, this is the very reason that I let them all go, because it's 4 pistons on the cab brakes. This is the reason I let them go in and out so many times without holding them as such, because each time you work them in and out, it obviously aids it in being lubricated and free. So that is my thinking behind it. I mean, obviously other people probably think different, but that's up to them. Got WD-40 dripping on me now. This isn't the strongest screwdriver to try and do this with, but we'll try. This little tiny screwdriver can push this back, then it'll be absolutely fine. Cool. Can you hear that? That's a pheasant, if you can hear that on the camera, making a racket. I need to get a bigger screwdriver to push that back in with. I can't get my pliers in there now. This is perfect proof of what lack of use to a car does. Don't use it, it all starts seizing up. Right, that went in fairly easily. I think that'll probably be okay. Trying to get it in that last little bit. Maybe use the pliers because they're a tad wider. Got more to push on then. Like that. Go right in nice and easy. And I'm going to put this pad back in. Like that. I'll leave the clip there for a minute, and now I'm going to pump it again, and hopefully this one will do the same thing now. And what I might try and do is turn the steering as well so I can see this side better, because it's a bit tricky to see from where I'm sitting. Hopefully you should have seen that pop out. Yep, there we go. That's good. I know this is a bit of a laborious, boring job, especially to show on video, but it's something I've had to do, so obviously if it gives you any info of what you might have to do on yours, then great. So get to the top of the rubber if you can, like that. I'm not showing this very well because the light's in the wrong place, isn't it? Let's move the light. Trying to get this so you can see it on camera well, as well as me being able to see it. Right, there we go. Yeah, if you get it right at the top like that, it will run down both sides of the piston, and that's the theory anyway. And hopefully it'll go right around the inside of the rubber. So make sure that it goes back in that groove again after, because that is your dust cover that you obviously don't want to let rubbish and whatever go inside. lever that back in now. Hopefully it'll go back in, whoops, reasonably easy. He says, famous last words, and just turn the steering instead. I know I'm leaving against the disc here, which isn't ideal, but that is really stuck. God, blimey. I don't like that. I do not like that at all. You can see the other side's not sticking at all, look, because I can still spin that. Whereas when this one was sticking, I couldn't spin that even with one pad in there. Right, I want to get a bar, hopefully, to get in there. I need to work this one a few times, I think. Oh dear old granddad's crowbar this is, from years ago. That'll push it in alright. Right, I'm going to pump it out again and do the same a couple of times. Right, I've just had my dad help me, and as you can see, the caliper is now running free with both pads in there, and he has pushed the brake, and they do obviously lock up and then release again. So looks like that's nice and free now. We worked it in and out about 3 or 4 times with him pumping the pedal and me spraying it with WD, leaving it back in again, and so on and so on. And it seems to be okay now. So in theory, that is all the brakes sorted out for the MOT in the morning. They're all free again now, which is really, really good. So that is the last job. I'm going to get the pins and stuff put back in here. You don't need to see me do that. And you will see me bright and early in the morning. Good morning, everybody. It is D-Day for the old Capri. Let's hope it passes the MOT. I'm on the way there now. I'm sorry about this mirror being in the way of the camera. I can only mount the camera there because the sides of the windscreen in the Capri are very curved. So the mount wouldn't mount on anywhere else. So yeah, we're on our way to the MOT station. Let's hope it passes. I've got to get some fuel as well. So I'll get there and obviously update you as soon as I know any more. So, the big question, did it pass? Oh yes, it definitely passed. Superb. Got a few things, needs a pair of windscreen wipers, which is fair enough. Couple of brake pipes corroded on the back, and a fuel clip on the fuel tank hose deteriorated but not excessive, and a slight oil leak, which I know about, so I can cope with that. That is absolutely brilliant. I am well chuffed. Day's work well spent, and I've got the old Capri back on the road again, which is mega. So I'm going to have a nice little drive back to Dad's now and enjoy the old Capri once again. I'll see you when I get back. Right then, that is going to be it for this episode on MEC-TEC. The old Capri lives again. MOT'd for another year. It's only got one more MOT and then it will be exempt, hopefully, as long as no one silly changes any of the laws. That is all I'm going to say about that. So that is absolutely superb. We've done a few jobs on it, as you would have seen, make it all roadworthy and safe again. The brakes are a lot better now. They were rock hard before when you pushed them, and now they've actually got a little bit of give to them before obviously it starts braking, which is obviously means they're all working because they're all moving in and out as they should be. So that was really good. I'm probably going to have to change those rear wheel cylinders at some point because obviously through lack of use they're probably going to get a bit sticky again at some point in time. Obviously we'll worry about that when we get there. So yeah, the old Capri lives again, MOT'd on the road, and I'm hopefully going to a classic car show next weekend in it, so that will be really good. Now, if you do like videos like this, like the Mini, like the the Triumph, there's a Triumph up here, all the other menagerie, the DeLorean, the Fiesta, then make sure you do 4 things for me: like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell. It's all free, it costs you absolutely nothing, and I really do appreciate it. If you could do that, that would be mega. And all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for watching, and if you want to join me soon for more automotive ventures, I will see you again next time. Cheers guys.